Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. It is absolutely gorgeous where I live today. So, if you joined me yesterday, we started on a new interchangeable design, and this is where we left off. I just have everything sitting here. What I need to finish today doing is shading the leaves, painting some lettering, and then doing a rustic antique technique on what this will go on. Now this pumpkin patch is actually going to be a shelf sitter. And what I'll do is I'll glue that off camera. But what you're going to get is a little slot and a stick to adhere it in. And you have to decide what type of angle you want this to sit at is where you're going to place that holder that holds the stick. So, and I'm a little bit unsure what type of angle I want. So, all you have to do is glue this on the back of this bigger piece, knowing what angle you want. And then you don't really have to glue this in. You can if you want. But for storage purposes, I think I would just leave it off and then just slide it up in there. At least that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use the Hauser Dark Green. Good morning. And then I'm going to come back on hopefully later today and start on another design. I've got lots and lots of designs. A lot. And I just kind of did a test cut of something I've been working on, and it is going to be adorable. So I'm just going to place this on the ends, around the curves, just to add a little bit of darkness. And then if I need to clean up the edges, I will go ahead and float some shading. But I just want to get a little darkness. I probably will do a little floating. But I'm also running that shading up a little bit further, but not going past the vein line. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for stopping in. Say hello. In this, I'm just gonna do a little shading up here because there is a leaf that's gonna you glue on. How much dry brushing you do has to be a personal preference. Good morning. And then once again, there'll be leaf that glues on here, so I'm just gonna want, you know, a little bit of shadow. Try not to go over that vein line. Well, that I didn't press too hard. So hopefully I can clean that up, because that's too much of a blob of paint to suit me. I might have to dry brush. Some base color on that. We'll see. And that's what happens when you don't take enough paint off your brush and you actually rub too hard. I'm definitely gonna, you end up with a blob. Because when I dry brush and I load my brush, I really get paint all the way up in here. And then if I press too hard, it comes out. So I didn't clean off my brush. But I'm gonna just try and dry brush some base color on there, just to calm it down a little bit. And I'm going to leave that not rinsed out yet. Because I might need to dry brush a little bit more. We'll see. Then I'm just going to do a little floating just to darken them up. And then also too, what it does is it kind of cleans up the edges. I feel it does. A lot of water today. All right, good enough. And what's interesting is even though I've really scraping hard on this brush, it's still got green in there. I think maybe it's kind of stained the bristles. I'm hoping that's the case. All right. We're doing a sign. And it's going to say farm fresh pumpkins. And the color blue I'm going to use because I'm trying to go for a rustic country feel is I'm going to use a color called Williamsburg Blue. And then I'll dry brush some darker blue on the bottom. Ooh. And I need to redo this sticky board. I said that last time and I didn't do it. I'm starting to sound like Durley. Always saying you're going to do something and... Well, the struggle is for real today. And this is like a really country type blue. So if you're looking to do like a country style painting, rustic, this is definitely the color you want. Yeah, this is ridiculous. And I kind of want to be careful because some of these parts of these letters are a little fragile. And I'll do one more coat. And I think I might even dry brush or highlight the top of these with just a little bit of winter blue. just to brighten them up a little bit. Now, I didn't do it the last time I did this, but I'm kind of thinking I might this time around. We'll have to see. Okay, I went ahead and painted this off camera because I knew it was going to take a little bit of time. But what I used was light buttermilk. I didn't worry about covering every square inch of it because I'm going to do an antiquing staining technique on it. So what I want to do first off is I just want to go ahead and sand it down a little bit and get off the high spots. And I'm just using a pretty smooth grade sandpaper. And then I'm just going to, in areas, kind of sand it down a little bit more. And I like to do this not on over top of my surface. And how much you sand off has to be a personal preference. And you just want to wipe it down just to be on the safe side. And I'm actually trying to get a couple areas down to the wood. And I am gonna dig out these score lines a little bit. And what I try to do is just kind of recreate the look of a shiplap. And I'm going to use a product called Dirk. It kills ceiling dark wax. And what I like to do is just dab it in and dab some off. And then I like to just kind of go with the grain. And I like to work kind of fast. Whoa, that's too much, but we can rub it off. Because I still want this a little bit light when it's all said and done. But I definitely want that old rustic look. And this kind of like ages it as well. It ages this background. And then on the sides where I sanded it, it darkens it up. Because I'm using wood, I'm just trying to go with the grain of the wood. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wet wipe, and this wet wipe is pretty wet, and just wipe some of this off. And it has to be personal preference how much you wipe off. But I just want this to look weathered and old. Very rustic. And because I'm using wood, you know, it's in the grains of the wood. And it looked a mess on the camera. But honestly, it's really, it's a nice weathered look. And that's what I'm after. So we'll let that dry really good. Probably kind of wants these ends just a little bit darker. Just to look a little bit more weathered. Whoa. This has to be a personal preference, how much of this you put on. I think what I'll do is I'll take a napkin this time and just kind of rub it in. But it just looks real weathered. And I like that. All right. Let's see where we're at on this lettering. I think I'll put one more coat on. And I could put this on the lettering, but I don't want the lettering to get darkened. I'm gonna just do that by dry brushing some shading on the bottom. And plus too, you know, that actually will change the color of these letters. And I like the color of these letters. So we'll let that dry really good. But just so you can see, this particular pumpkin is gonna go on here. It's this one. So it's not too dark. You know, it looks brownish and weathered, and that's what I'm after. And if it ends up, you know, you're not happy with it, you can try and rub a little bit more off. Just, you know, kind of press a little bit hard. But like I said, you know, I sanded this and I pressed pretty hard with the sanding block, and I did that intentionally because I wanted the grain to show through, and I wanted some rough edges. I wanted some of the wood to show through. So all right. I'm going to start off by just dry brushing with the deep midnight blue. And then I'll decide if I want to hit the top of these. With with a lighter color. And I'm only going to try and go about a third of the way up. And as you can see, when you get to the arch, the letters get smaller. And I might hit these bottoms with a little bit of floating. And I think I will try a little bit of winter blue. That's a little bit more than what I wanted. Part of me feels that I should probably dry brush. So we'll see if I can accomplish it. Okay. Let's start doing some gluing. And this color of blue just goes so nicely with that orange. It's very complementary. And what I like to do is I actually like to glue the leaves onto the pumpkin and glue the leaves together, and then glue them onto the pumpkin, and then glue the pumpkin onto the sign. And it doesn't take a whole lot of glue. It's actually too much glue. I don't know who the guy is in the airplane today, but he's been dive bombing a lot this morning. I don't know if he's practicing things to get a license, if he's spraying crops, if he's dropping things for coons and rabies. But this has been going on for hours. We do have a small airport next to us, but now he's like right over my house. So I have no idea. What the heck, he doesn't do something stupid. I mean, I know they just planted here, but I don't think you need any type of whatever for your plants. They just planted last week. I don't even know if they're sprouting yet. Bet you the family of fox went and hid. There's a family of fox. It's like 7 of them, 5 babies. I thought there was only 4, but there's 5 babies, 2 adults. And they are getting big. And they were out not too long ago. But if they hear loud noises, those babies take off running. Alright, almost done. Just gotta glue that pumpkin and that's it. I'm sure my cats are not liking this. Okay. I do kind of like that little bit of light highlighting, I really do. I didn't know if I would or not, but I think it just brightens up those letters a little bit. But this looks very, very weathered, and that's what I'm after. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Really, really happy. It's gonna drive me crazy. I hope it's not an all-day affair. Holy smokes. And then what I would recommend, and this is how I'm gonna do it, this goes over top. So I would just put a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue here. Doesn't need a whole lot. And then just some glue on this. Not going too far over. And then lining everything up. Top, bottom, and sides. Not too bad. And get this lined up. You're good to go. All right. And then, like I said, you have to glue this onto the back of here. And you just have to decide what angle you want. I'll do that off camera. But these two are going to go together. We got a shelf sitter and we're going to have an insert. And I think these go very well together. Can't really see it in both. Very rustic, very primitive, very farmhouse. And I absolutely love it. And with it only being about 11:15, I have other things cut. And I'll probably be back late afternoon to starting another 4th of July design. So hopefully you will join me. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.